The city of Calgary, throughout its history, has had a sustained increase in the number of immigrant and visible minority persons arriving in the city. The result has been a continually growing range of culturally diverse experiences, perspectives, and vibrancy. There is no doubt Calgary's ethno-cultural makeup is changing rapidly, joining the likes of Vancouver and Toronto as major urban centers of multiculturalism and a preferred destination for newcomers. Simultaneously, LGBTQ rights in Canada are some of the most advanced in the world. Same-sex marriage and same-sex adoption have been legal for years. Discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation in employment, housing, and public and private accommodations is banned nationwide. Currently, immigration service agencies do not receive training on the multitude of unique issues faced by LGBTQ newcomers, such as rejection by their own local ethnic community, as well as the community at large, and the lack of intersectionality between being an immigrant and being a member of the LGBT community.
Yeah, Calgary Outlink is the community hub for the LGBTQ community in Calgary. So we have various services here. I guess what makes us unique is we give peer support for LGBTQ people, and so we have support groups for trans people, gay men. We're starting one for women. We have one for youth. We have general, meetups and support groups for just anyone who's LGBT. We're really excited about working with the Calgary Centre for Newcomers with our New Canadians group, because the largest group of people coming to Calgary Outlink are New Canadians.
It's called the New Canadians Project, and essentially what we're doing is we're creating a program that kind of meets that intersectionality piece that, one of the biggest fears that newcomers have coming to Canada is, are their cultural groups going to accept them, and vice versa, is the LGBT community going to accept their diversity in regards to their culture. I think it's for both, to be honest. I think that there's an educational piece for people where, we're providing information to these settlement practitioners of, how to be inclusive and how to, be non-judgmental towards these individuals, as well as to create an environment for these individuals where it's a safe, open place where people understand what they're going through.
We are looking at the big picture here. We don't want to exclude a particular segment of society not being served. And the fact that they are identified as vulnerable, the more that we need to focus our attention to them, right? So hopefully with the support of management, and our CEO is really bent on having this kind of programming for them, it's very important that we continue to share with them and espouse our values that we are indeed a welcoming center for everyone.
The need for dealing with New Canadians here at Calgary Outlink is really high, and the types of scenarios that we're seeing with New Canadians here are just incredible. And so the stories I hear are truly horrendous in some cases. Well, I've had a number of refugees come here and tell me that they cannot return to their home country because if they go back to their home country and introduce themselves again to their own families will send them to authorities, put them in jail, and in a couple of cases that we've had, their own families have said there's a bullet waiting for them when they return. The people coming to Canada and where they're now coming from are very often countries that are very unlike Canada, do not have the same multiculturalism and tolerance that we have here. And so lots of people are fleeing those countries and coming here.
So I think for me, it starts right at the front door when someone walks in, and I think that has to do with a lot of inclusivity work. So from my perspective, the way I would like things to be run is to have things inclusive, again, from the minute you walk in. So it can be things like intake forms. It can be things like the way you address someone. It can be the way we gender things. So rather than saying, oh, do you have a wife or do you have a husband, saying, do you have a partner?
I would like to see something that builds around building the capacity within our staff. And if we have this kind of funding for this purpose, I think we should be conscious of getting the right people who has the training, the expertise in this area. And once we have that in place, then we can maybe start the programming part of it and reach out to communities, to different agencies who are working for this particular population, just like the Calgary Outlink and others.
Well, the really key thing, especially for a newcomer and especially for somebody who's going through a refugee process, is it has to be really clear that the process is very confidential and very safe. So it's going to be really important for the staff at the Center of Newcomers to all understand that it's okay for somebody to disclose to the staff. And then that's when Calgary Outlink can work with the staff there, and we can start working together on various files to make sure that they're getting all the needs that they need to integrate into Canada and ensure that their refugee hearing and so on and so forth is a successful process.
I would say safety. I think that, again, they already are coming from, a lot of the times, not always, but if we're talking about refugees, for example, which is a large portion of this project, it's safety. It's people coming here and being safe. And then when they're here, connecting them to community and not ostracizing them and not excluding them from things. Because again, I think that a lot of times we separate the two of immigrants, LGBT, and not look at them as a whole and go, oh, wait a minute, there's a whole intersectional piece here where people are both and people can be both. And I think that a lot of times we do have a lot of internalized oppression of seeing people go, well, you know, I'm part of this community, but this community doesn't accept me. So how do we create an environment where there's acceptance mutually from both communities, or whatever that intersection means?
Actually, I'm excited about this project that our CEO is spearheading and reaching out to Calgary Outlink and the rest of the Calgarian community. We'll do our part and show to this population that Center for Newcomers is open to them all the time, and we are here to support them.